Video được Việt hóa bởi Ngọc Tân từ group tài nguyên dựng phim. Nghiêm cấm các hành vi lít về rồi bán cho thằng khác. Mọi ý kiến đóng góp xin gửi về Facebook Quỳnh Ngọc Tân.
Let's get to work on a shot from the film, combining two shots from the timeline. Here we have these two shots of the alien ship, cockpit, and our little alien puppet. Now, this puppet was way too big to actually put inside of the cockpit, so we decided while we shot this to shoot a shot of the cockpit and a shot of the alien separate and to combine them in post. When you have two shots that you're kind of planning on compositing together, each one of those shots is generally called a plate. So we have the ship plate and the alien plate. Now, there are a few different ways that we could put these together, but the easiest way is just to select both of them in the edit page and right click and go up to the top of our little menu here and say new fusion clip. What that will do is combine them together. And then if we go to fusion, we'll see we have two media in nodes now. And we can see which one's which by hitting 1 on the keyboard. So this media in 1 is our cockpit. So I'll hit F2 to rename cockpit MI. And media in 2 is our little guy. So we'll call that alien MI. So I like to have the foreground on top of the merge and the background to the left of the merge. So now we have the alien over the cockpit. So what do we do from here? Well, if we bring up our cockpit, we have to kind of make a plan. And for this one, probably the easiest thing to do would be to cut a hole out of this footage and just put this alien shot underneath it. So you're looking through the hole in the footage and you can see the alien. So what we actually need to do is switch these inputs. We need the alien to be on the background and the cockpit shot to be over him. So let's select our merge and I can hit Control T on the keyboard. And what that will do is switch my foreground and my background so that our cockpit is in the foreground. So that's the green input and the alien is in the background, which is the yellow input. And now if we look at our composite by loading media out into the second viewer, we just see the foreground. Now we've learned about masks. And so what we can really do is just draw a mask and we'll use that as a hole to kind of cut out so we can see our alien. So let's deselect our cockpit and let's grab this polygon and put that right above our cockpit. Now we could connect this right now, but our shot is going to disappear, which is not really what we want. So let's not connect it yet. But with the polygon selected, I'm going to zoom in here. And we're going to draw a little shape very carefully, clicking and dragging to make these soft corners. And we're going to just trace out what we want to be transparent. There we go, something like that. Now we have this curve kind of going up here. If I grab the little handle and drag this back in, we shouldn't have much of a problem. Making sure my shape looks really good and go back and adjust it a little bit. And now if I connect my polygon to my cockpit like that, we can see we only see the cockpit right where the polygon is. Now that's not quite what we want, but it's sort of in that direction. What we really want is the opposite of that. We want our cockpit shot to be everywhere except for this little hole. One easy thing that we can do is with our mask selected, we can go over to the inspector and click this little invert button. And what that will do is invert our mask so that he can peek through the little hole there. Yeah. We can see here in our left-hand viewer, we see our little checkerboard pattern behind this hole, which shows that it's transparent. So now we can take our little alien and add a transform node. So let's select the alien and we can just click once on the transform node and that will add a transform node right after. And we can resize our little alien guy and move him around to be exactly where we want him to be. Can maybe angle it a little bit. And there's our handsome boy. And because these were shot with the same kind of light, We were definitely planning on doing this the whole time. They mix together pretty well. Sometimes if you have something that is in a different light or that you maybe didn't plan as well, you might have to color correct one of the plates. But this looks pretty good. And there he is, peeking out of his little hidey hole, and that composite works great. One thing we might want to do is soften this polygon just a little bit. So I'll take the soft edge and push it up just a touch. Now we don't have quite as harsh of an edge. But man, yeah, that works pretty well. So open those two shots and try this out for yourself. This is a really cool exercise. And if you want to, you can even go crazy, like add a color corrector and a mask to the color corrector. And you can put a little mask here and take the brightness down a little bit. Soften our mask just a touch. And now we have a little shadow being cast by this lip. The more you can think about those kind of details, the more it's going to sell that effect. Pretty cool. But that's really the ins and outs of how Fusion works. This is a massive, massive page. And we could spend an entire training just learning Fusion. In fact, just between you and me, we're developing a training for just Fusion. So if you're excited for that, we're definitely going to have more here very soon. But here's one last little bit of homework for you. Take this third shot, bring it into Fusion, and see if you can put something in the sky. In our movie, we had a smoke trail going across here. See if you can combine the tools that you've already learned and make a smoke trail or anything else. But the good news is once you know the basics of how things work in Fusion, you're free to be creative and make new awesome shots. Pretty cool. Hope you've enjoyed this chapter. Next, we're going to be getting into color.